Okay, so I'm going to start to show you here how I set up the wheel project in Carveco. So I have my workspace here already set up in Carveco. It's 17 and 7/8 wide by 9 and a quarter high. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up the relief file, import 3D model, and there's the whale tail. So then when it comes in, it's going to be, pretty large, so I'll just have to resize it. I'm going to uncheck the link for the Z-axis first, because I want to set this at 2 inches. Apply, and I'm going to center it too, and then center the view this way. And you can see it's still pretty big, so I'm going to change the X size of width to 17 and a half, and then that's going to change the Y size also. So I hit apply, and then you can see it, and I brought it down into the workspace. So that looks pretty good. And just hit center just to make sure it's the way I want it, and then hit paste. So then I'm going to go ahead and set up some toolpaths. So hit toolpath, create machine relief, and just going to do automatic boundary. And I have it set up here for the offset at minus 0.1, and I'll explain that briefly just to and why I did that once we get a little bit farther in here. So for the finishing options, I'm going to do a 1/32 inch end mill, ball nose end mill. And going to leave the step down in the feed rate and plunge rate and spindle speed all the same. So for this here, I'm going to go with an extremely small step over. I'm going to go 0.00325, and that should give me a pretty smooth finish after it's done. It's going to take a lot longer. I'd rather have that smooth finish than have to do a lot of sanding afterwards. So next, multiple Z passes. I don't mess with that. Roughing options, we're going to go with a 1/4 inch end mill. Step over, I'm going to leave the same. Step down, I'm going to go 0.15 and leave the speed or the feed and plunge rate the same. So then we come down here. I don't mess with any of this stuff here. I leave that just the way it is. Lead-in moves, ramping, I usually do, nope, that's not it. I usually leave that alone for the 3D toolpaths. And safe Z, go ahead and put that at 0.5. I'm just going to go a ½ inch above the surface since it is a pretty deep piece, 2 inches, and the bit that I'm using is 2 or 3 inches long, so I don't want it to hit the limit switches when it raises up. So I'll leave that at a ½ inch. And then the material thickness, I know this is my material is 2 1/16. So 2.0265. So that's all set up, and I'll just calculate. This may take a while, just depending on the speed of your computer, because this one is a pretty big file size. See, still now it's calculating or displaying the toolpaths. Okay, so I'll get rid of that, and I'm going to just kind of zoom in here a little bit. Now you can see for the toolpaths how, remember I was saying about the offset minus point or 0.1. See how the bit now with that minus 0.1, it basically reduces the width of the area that it's going to carve, so that this bit's just basically going to stay right on the top of this project. It's just going to go back and forth this way. Now, if I were to change this to 0, and then do it again, now you can see here how the bits, instead of just riding on the top of the surface, they actually go and cut down into the wood on each pass, which not only takes longer, but it puts a lot of extra stress on your bits, especially for your smaller tipped ball nose bits. I don't want that coming down and plunging down into the wood. So I'm just going to change it back to the -0.1, so that way the bit just rides up on the surface. It'll take a lot less longer and a lot less wear on the bit and a lot less stress on it. Because this will all be cut out with the profile tool pass anyway, so I don't need to worry about it doing this while it's doing the 3D carving portion. So I'm going to change that back to -0.1 and recalculate again. And when I do the simulation, you'll be able to see it a little better on how it's just going to carve the top of the piece instead of plunging down on the sides. Now there may be a better way to do this, but this is the way that I found that works. If you know of another way to do this here, where it's so that the bits do not plunge down on the sides, feel free to let me know. But it seems to work well for me, so I'm going to stick with that for right now. So that's finished. And I'm just going to zoom out here, and we'll go ahead. Excuse me. We'll go ahead and push the simulation control bar and just kind of show you what it's going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and speed it up so it doesn't take so long. Just to kind of show a little bit of what's going to happen. So I'll go ahead and speed that up some more. So there you go. So there you can see partly that the tool path is not going to, the bit's not going to plunge down on the side. It's just going to stay on the top of the workpiece. And also the same for the finished pass. Let me just speed this up a little bit too. To give you a better idea of what I'm talking about. So you can kind of see here on the edges where it's just stopping. It's, you know, a little bit where it sinks down, but it doesn't go the whole way down and put all that extra stress by plunge cutting your bit down into 2 inches of wood. So let's go ahead and stop that. No, let's go ahead and simulate it all together. So there you go. So that's what it should look like. And we'll go ahead. I'm just going to set up a quick profile tool path. And just with a 1/4 inch end mill. And I'll probably slow that down to 75. And the plunge step down, I'll probably do 0.2. Should be okay. Go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and simulate all the tool paths again. And then once you are done, you can, if you right click on simulation I'll say delete waste material, you can kind of see what the project, and then just click on the pieces that you want to get rid of. So there's your project. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know, but I'll go ahead and get this started on the machine. Thanks for watching.